Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So today is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have a look at one of my subscribers' swings, and we're going to do a bit of a video analysis here. So Anthony is a very good player. If we look at this swing, you can see it's a very good golf swing. He's a very good player. So he tells me that his misses tend to be either fat or he tends to get too much shape right to left on his shots, and we're going to have a look at why that might be today. So for me, in Anthony's swing, there's really two things he needs to work on, and the first thing is setup, and the second is how he goes through the ball through impact. So if we look at his setup, this is quite common, and certainly common in golfers that tend to hit too much right to left, is that he looks a bit overshaped at the start. So his spine angle is leaning too far back this way. So that means he's basically got too much shape in his right side. It almost looks like he's got a bit of angle there in the left as well. And then the hands will be too far in front of the midpoint of the body, and he'll get too much shaft lean this way, and that also causes grip to be slightly too strong. So that really sets him up to get too level a turn going back, and get the club coming too much from the inside coming through, and that can then flip over and causes hook shots, or if he just hangs back, he'll hit it fat. So let's have a look. Let's go through the backswing now. So he's setting up, in my opinion, with too much shape there. If we go take this back slowly this time. So when he gets about halfway back here, you can see his right elbow is well under his left. It's probably a bit too much under his left at that point, and it's all due to having too much shape in the body. So if we go up to the top, and so if we draw a line here where the wall would be, for me his left shoulder is turned a bit too level and is too far away from the wall, and it's all to do with being overshaped here. Okay, so I think by just getting that set up right, and you know, his feeling might be that his left shoulder works down a little bit more from there, and he'll feel like he's tilting, but he'll have the right amount of shape then. So when he comes down, he bumps across really well. So he bumps across. He does sort of maintain his angles throughout the backswing and into the start of the downswing here. So, but it's just like I said, he's starting with too much shape. So when he comes down, he bumps across. He's got plenty of lag in the club there. And he even hits with the hands forward, which is really great. And that's why he's a good player. So, but from this position here, what he needs to work on is feeling that his body's releasing more. So if you look at his halfway through position, you can see his eyes are still down this way. So we want to be able to to let that head release with the club and the body through the shot. So when he gets into this halfway down position, what he needs to feel is that his body's actually from here is turning. So we've talked about before, when we start the downswing, we want to hold the body. You can see he's done really well there. His left leg's still bent, so he hasn't turned too early. But from this point, we really want to feel that the shoulders and the hips are releasing through with the arms and the club. So it's really a body release, everything working together. If the body stalls like he does, the club will tend to flip. So you can see the club's flipped over there, the club face is actually closed, and his eyes are still looking down. So what he needs to be able to work on is to let from this position here, from the halfway down, and he can work on that with sort of half shots, just to feel like the eyes are looking up earlier, and just trying to hold this angle here and the back of the right wrist a little bit longer. But it's very hard to do if the eyes stay down too long and the body stalls. The club's always going to tend to flip then. Okay, so let's have a look at how we want it to look. We want it to look more neutral. So we still want them to be up here on the wall like this. But you can see that there's not as much lean away from the spine, okay, as this here. There's still a little bit of shape in the body, but it's not overshaped. You can see where the hands are a little bit more in the middle of the body, just slightly in front, and not excessively forward. Okay, so that'll help his grip a little bit as well. It won't be quite so strong. And then that's going to change the backswing. So he obviously gets this very level turn, almost a bit too level. A lot of shape. You can see a lot of angle here. Okay, so and we want it to be to be more this way, because the left shoulder's worked down just a little bit more, and the shape's a little bit more subtle. It's not quite as strong. And then if we have a quick look at the move through the ball that we were talking about, so from this position here, we want to feel like we hold the body, we don't turn too early. And then from this halfway down position, now we need to feel the shoulders, hips, everything opening up, the eyes following the shot. You can see how early the head comes up there. And if we have a look at his one, the body stalls, the club flips over, and you can see the difference in the head and the hands. So there's been more flip, and the head still down, as opposed to the head coming up with the shot, or turning with the shot. You can see at that position there's a little bit more turn in the body here, and therefore the head's in this position. Here the body's just stalled a little bit more, and the eyes are still down. So that's really the two things I would get him to work on, is the setup and his swing through the ball. And we'll have a look now at the swing from down the line. Okay, so obviously from down the line, his posture is good. I would say the one thing is maybe just get the hands just up slightly, a little bit higher. They're a little bit low, but other than that, a very good setup. So let's have a look at his backswing here. So he sets the club pretty well on the right line there. Okay, on his hand line. You just see again the right elbow being a bit too low. Gets the club a little bit across the line due to being overshaped and getting a bit too much turn. But pretty good position at the top there. So if we had him, not quite as with not quite as much shape at the start, the left shoulder would probably work down a little bit more and make his overness look a little bit more this way, a bit more over with the body and not being quite as straight. And then coming down, you can just sort of see how the body straightens. The club is coming a little bit too much from the inside. Okay, so what we want to have is the club coming a bit more on his hand line again, with the body more over. That's the big thing. When the body's up, see that the body tends to stall then. You can see how the club flips over. His head stays down. You can see the club is shut here at this point here. So if we can get the body to release through, you can see the difference there in the club face. So there's a big difference there in the club face and the head position there. So we want that body, to be able to release and to turn through the shot. That should help him maintain that right wrist angle, which will allow the club just to remain square to his body and not flip over so much. So really a case of, like we said from the front angle, get his setup right. He may feel his left shoulder sort of works down a little bit more on the backswing. He might feel like he's tilting a little bit, but that's just him with less shape. And then coming through, is from this position here. So he holds his body, you can still see his left knee in front of his right here, which is great. And then from this point, we want to feel like the body's releasing with the club and the arms, and not just the club and the arms. So so this is going to feel to him that the ball might go a bit left, and that's probably why he keeps the head down so long. But he needs to practice, half or three-quarter swings from this position here, and just learn to get the body to release through. It's going to feel like he's looking up earlier, and of course we want to maintain the right wrist angle and finish with the club face looking more like this here, rather than being flipped over this way.